Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Glad you could make it. I'm experimenting with some different times to see what kind of traffic we get, and maybe it'll be a bus tonight. I don't know. But tonight I wanted to focus on you guys, make you guys the guests, ask questions, get answers, have a conversation about whatever's on your mind. It doesn't matter to me. There's very few things I find off limits, as you probably know. So I'll give you, we'll start with little updates on the campaigns, and then we'll go into if, we got questions here and people show up, then we'll go into that. If not, it'll be a short show. So for everybody that backed Alien Alamo, we are in the final days of getting packages out. Everything should be out the door by this weekend. So you should have your tracking numbers by then. If you don't have tracking numbers by next week, please let me know, and I will contact fulfillment and get that to you. One of the holdups for anybody that had the swag perks, basically it was the beanies that held us up. That was an actual supply chain issue. My original source ran out of them, and I wasn't able to order anymore, so I had to go local, and then I had to find somebody that could do the stitching to my specifications, because man, you'd be surprised at how many businesses do this for a living, and they just do substandard stitching on it. It's not that difficult a design. So that took a while, surprisingly. And Buffalo is not a small town. There's plenty of talent here, but we just had a hard time getting anybody. But good news is we found somebody and they nailed it. So it's every bit as good as the originals. So happy about that. So that's what's going on there. Of course, as you know, we also have giant size two-fisted manly tails, which is currently live on Indiegogo. I played the trailer when as the opening for this show, and it's doing quite well. We're at $67,912 with 696 backers right now. That number seems like a lot, but for this type of a project, we're just scratching the surface on it, because as I had mentioned in some other streams, this isn't something that I'm just doing myself and not having to pay anybody. This has, I've got 5 writers, and I've got I'm going to have 10 different artists, and some inkers as well, of course, colorists and letterers, to produce this big 100-page book. And right now, the first part I'm paying out of pocket on, but that goes quick. 67,000 is not a huge amount of money when you have, a good 20% of that is your shipping costs as well. So, if you would, if you've backed this, fantastic. If you've been along for the rides for my other Compass Comics projects, stuff's going to get delivered on time, and so you don't have to worry about that. And it's going to be really high quality stuff. So, thank you for backing it. If you haven't, I'd ask you to please consider check out the campaign. We've got some great stuff here. This Brass Knuckles perk is a lot of fun. In fact, I'll show you. That's the trophy right there that comes with that perk. It's going to look really cool on a desk or a shelf. And it plays into the whole satire of what we're talking about here, all that, over the top stuff. So that's the featured perk. And you get, of course, the Giant Size Two-Fisted Man Tales books, and all the stretch goals, and 2 of them we've already hit. So I'll show you. Here's a close-up of the cover by the great Michael Golden. It pretty much, tells the story. It's about men, and here's all these different kinds of bad guys. Oh, here's another thing. By popular demand, I added the grab bag back. People seem to really like that. So the grab bag is 5 comics from my vaults, all of them signed. Some of them go back to let's see, what's the earliest one? 1988, I think. So you've got some 30-year-old comics in there, 30-plus-year-old comics, and all of them are signed. It's all stuff that I've done, not the other artists on these books. If you missed out on Alien Alamo, here's your chance to get both. If you missed out on the Chanu, here's your chance to get all of them. The Ballbuster perk. Michael Golden is accepting commissions. $900 gets you these gorgeous busts. They're 9x12. I'm doing commissions as well. Mine are 11x17, full size, cover quality. Butch Geis was doing commissions, but his sold out relatively quick. Here's some of the stretch goals that have been unlocked already. This is the Giant Size Two-Fisted Manly Tales bookmark. Love bookmarks. It's been a mainstay of all of my projects. My wife is a voracious reader, and she demands bookmarks, so she gets what she wants. We've already unlocked the man card. This is a fun thing. Everybody talks about turn in your man card. Well, now you got a man card to turn in. So I just love the idea of this thing. It's got a place here to sign. You can put your name on it. I'm gonna have these done in a really nice card stock, possibly a PVC. I have to look into the price of those. If it's a PVC, it'll have rounded corners so it doesn't poke you or ruin your wallet. Otherwise, it'll be like a really heavy card stock. The undersigned agrees to do the right thing at all times, protect women and children, stand up and be counted, and kick ass when necessary. So that's your official man card, and everybody who backs the book is going to get that. Let's see, it's $75,000. We're going to go with the die cut logo sticker, vinyl logo sticker, which will be awesome. And I've got pages that are going to be coming in within the next day or so. The entire story that Larry Stroman illustrated is done, and he's FedExed me the artwork so that I can scan it in. And as soon as that's done, I'll put that up there and share some of those amazing pages. Larry's story was written by Chuck Dixon, and it's a really down and dirty horror sci-fi story, which I think you guys are really going to dig. I've got the writers working on the next stage, so the next 5 stories, and as soon as those come in, I'll put the blurbs on about what those are about. In fact, I did put here's the one that Larry's pages are coming in on. It's called Scab. In the far future, a crew mining deep into the heart of an asteroid uncovers a dormant alien life form that threatens to infect the entire colony. It's left to wildcat gear jockey Van Beaudry to stop the menace before it spreads. It's really creepy, and I saw small images of Larry's art, and it looks really creepy. I can't wait can't wait to hold the originals when they come in the next couple days. So I'll get those up there to you. So I think what else? Oh, there's going to be like there was on Alien Alamo. There's going to be limited edition shirts for the Two-Fisted Manly Tales campaign that'll have the Compass Comics logo in printed on the inside. Really high quality stuff that you're really going to want. I'm also going to do hats this time because this logo just seems like it needs it. So got some really cool design hats, as well as the shirts. Those will be going up very shortly as well. So we're about what are we about? Yeah, we're 2 weeks in. 2 weeks into the campaign, and we have another 2 weeks to go on that initial first 30 days. So, you go through lulls in these campaigns right out of the gate. If you hit it right, you get hot and do well, which really helps you get over the slow periods. And this book really hit it off hot. So we're in good shape. We got to keep going. We got to get this to the 150,000 stretch goal mark, so that we can not only, churn out this really incredible bunch of stories with these great artists and writers, but everybody's book becomes a hardcover. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not offering a digital option on this, is because I really wanted this book to be something special and to stand out on a bookshelf. So I really, really want to get that to 150,000 for the guys and for the backers, so they get this great hardcover. So, okay, so that is that. That's the business at hand. And so tonight, you guys are the guests. So let's talk about whatever's on your mind. I hope you got some questions lined up. Could be about anything, A couple things going on today here. I got some new chairs for the studio, actual like gamer chairs, but I had to put them together myself, and my back's a little stiff. Nothing is easy, but I got them together. I'm actually sitting in one of them right now. It's got this nice lumbar support, which I haven't had in these streaming things. And sometimes those late nights were just killers for me. I injured my back at the gym about 8 years ago. And it's never been the same. So everything is about keeping it from flaring up, if you will. So these chairs will help out a lot. All right, let's see who's got something going on here with some questions. Oh, Wiley J Draws says he's been working on. Let me put it up. He's been working on his comic for over a year, and he's close to being satisfied enough to call it finished. I'd appreciate any critiques. My pages are on Instagram. Okay, so let's take a look at Wiley's pages. Here we go. Share. Okay. So we are on Instagram here. We can take a look at Wiley's pages together. Now, the problem is when you ask for critiques from me is you're going to get honesty. So here we go. Let's see if these blow up if I click them. Well, they do. Good. Okay. Okay, Wiley, oh wait, there we go. I'm guessing that a page like this is part of your comic, your continuity pages, because that's what I want to see. I don't want to see pinups or posters. I want to see continuity pages for storytelling. All right, so is there any more? It doesn't look like it. Okay, so we only have. Let me just make sure that these aren't continuity pages here. No. Okay. All right, so we only got a couple continuity pages, so let's click on one here. Let's see what we got. Okay. Storytelling is clear. Chuck Dixon would hate this. He hates circular panels. I like them myself. Joe Kubert used them a lot, very effectively. In fact, I did, what was it? I think it was Bane Conquest #1. And I did a splash page that had a circular panel. And Chuck, that's when I found out Chuck didn't like circular panels. I said, why don't you like them? I mean, Kubert used them all the time. And Chuck said, "You're not Joe Kubert." What a slam. It was so awesome. Okay, storytelling is decent here. We're seeing these guys look down on this stuff. Whatever's happening here. So we've got some backgrounds so we can see they're in a, kind of a barren landscape. This is really good here because he's pointing us. Not only is he pointing to what you want us to see, but he's pointing in the direction to keep the flow going. You can see my pointer going here, okay, so that you go like that. So that was a good decision on your part, Wiley. Okay, again, we've got some good flow here. This character is looking out this way. Not sure what they're looking at. Looks like maybe crashed up airplanes. Okay. My biggest critique here for you is your drawing, your draftsmanship. It needs some work. Your figures need work. Your textures still need to be worked out. The stone looks like it could be cotton candy. It doesn't look like rock or stone. It doesn't have any kind of texture to it. You tried doing some nice rendering here on this devil looking guy, which came out pretty cool. But like this character in the background, his proportions are way off. He looks short, and in fact, he really doesn't even look like he's in the background. He just looks like he's a short guy. So those are some things to keep an eye on. Well, this is interesting. This is some good. This last panel is very nicely rendered. There's some very good gestures here. That's a nice drawing. But again, there is some figure work that needs to be worked out a little bit more. Consistency and just draftsmanship. So I would say, your storytelling from the couple pages that are up here, look halfway, look pretty clear, readable, and interesting. But, the heavy lifting for you is going to be, to get your drawing down. And that just comes with study and time. So, good luck to you. And, thanks for sharing the link. Okay. Let's see. Metal Movies and Brewski says Ale, Ale, Chat, and Nolan. Seems like a good combo. Woodrow says hail the chat. Nicholas Gear says howdy, folks. JP Roca, what's good? Matt Cisco says hello. Oz Legacy, good evening all. Neon Todd Studio, hi Graham in chat. Shadowhawk Backs, hail Graham. He's got a nice little bourbon glass there. Which, by the way, I need to get some. I finished off the last of my bourbon. I gotta make a run. JP Roca wants to know, when is Monster Mondays coming back? I shelved Monster Mondays, JP, and the reason being is that I felt that it was going to undermine the 31 Days of Monsters. Because if I do a monster movie every week, that's 52 movies that I can't use now for the 31 Days of Monsters. So I like that period. I like that time frame in the fall when that comes about and we do those 31 days together. And it just takes the specialness away from it by doing it once a week. So that's why I decided to end that. Sorry about that. Mike Ortega says, be a man and back this comic. I agree. You know, a lot of really cool things will happen when you do back this comic, you know. Your testosterone level is going to go up. Your balls are going to drop a little lower. Women are going to look at you differently. Your physique is going to fill out with more lean muscle fiber. These are all things that happen when you back the giant-sized two-fisted manly tails. It's not a promise. It's just things that I've noticed. So, Hyper Kaiju says, good evening, everyone. Son of Liberty Radio, I'm impatiently waiting for my tracking number. I just had books in a t-shirt, LOL. Well, the t-shirt stuff was the last batches to go out. So I don't know what the thought process is for the fulfillment company that I'm using. You know, they have everything in order of the best way to ship stuff out, and I leave that to them. So it doesn't mean if you're the first one, if you're backer number one, doesn't mean yours is the first one to go out. I've had, who was it? Somebody was on me in one of the, it was the professional chat, or who was that? It was Plan 9. He was one of the early backers, and he hadn't gotten his backer or his tracking number. But you know, it has nothing to do with when you backed it. It has to do with when what groups get shipped out when. So, but everything is going, everything is moving quickly. Somebody's got to be last. It's just that's just how it is. And I know everybody's impatient, and I hope that your impatience or your patience is rewarded when it does come, and that you love it. That's all I can ever ask for. Bernardo is here. Aloha, Graham. Two-fisted badassery. Yes, indeed. Julie Pascal, I got my alien ammo. Is the story going to continue in current day? Well, Julie, I'm not doing sequels, but that thread that got started in Alien Animal will move forward into the next book, which is the Ghosts of Matacumba Key, which is going to introduce new characters. What I'm trying to do is each book is a self-contained story. So if you only bought the one book, you could read it and enjoy it at that level. Like if you bought the Chanu, the first one, you could read it and enjoy it. If you bought Alien Alamo, you could read that and enjoy that. If you buy Ghosts of Matacumba Key, you can read it and enjoy that. But you're going to see characters that appeared in the Chanu and in Alien Alamo appear, and some of their story threads are going to go through as well. So with each book, I'm introducing new characters, and in Ghosts, there's going to be 2 new characters: a private detective and his girlfriend that handle supernatural cases, and they're going to be a real interesting team. So they're going to be the new characters that come up, but characters from the other 2 books are going to interconnect with it. So it's like one whole interconnected universe, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So if I do a sequel, though, I will say there's been a lot of people asking for a Chanu sequel or prequel, because I could do any era with that. And I'm actually leaning towards doing a follow-up to the Chanu at some point. And that reminds me, speaking of the Chanu, there is news on that front. If you remember, I had been trying to put together a plushie, kind of a cute version of the Chanu. And I contacted a company because, as you know, one of my prerequisites is all manufacturing for my company has to be done in the United States. If they do it outside the States, they're out. I won't use them. I believe in keeping jobs here and keeping our money here, and in employing my brother and sister Americans. So that's an important thing to me. The problem for me was with the plushies is that, I found a company that was based in the United States, and I didn't realize that their manufacturing was overseas, was in China, and it was taking them forever to get me a prototype. And I said, "What's taking so long? You guys are just in Florida." Well, that's when it came out that they produce in China, and I said, "Okay, you're fired." So I found another company that is not only based here, but they actually put the plushies together here in the United States. They import materials from other countries, but it's made here, which allows us to use a made in the USA sticker or sewn in tag on it, which is really important to me. So that being said, I originally wanted the plushie to come out before February so that people could have it in their hands for Valentine's Day. Because when you see the design, you're going to laugh, and it's going to be just a great thing that you can give to your wife, your girlfriend, or they can get for you too. So what I'm doing is I'm circling it back around when Two-Fisted Manly Tales is done and starts to ship. Just like last time, the Ghosts of Matacumba Key will be the next campaign to launch. When that is done and starts shipping, I'll launch the campaign for the plushie because I will have those in hand at that point. I'm going to be a limited number of them. I think of 500 is a limited number for those. So when those are ordered, they'll be able to ship just as soon as that campaign is over. On the day the campaign ends, bam, we can ship them. So that way you can have them for Valentine's Day 2023. So just wanted to give you an update on that. And thank you for your question, Julie. Shadowhawk back says, I got a remark, a t-shirt, everything, I think. Excellent. I thank you for your support. Nicholas Gear says, how many pages are each story? There's 10 stories and they're 10 pages. So that's 100 pages of two-fisted manly action. Rancid Potato is here. Hello. I love that. I love that. Damn. The name and the avatar is hysterical. Dr. Mask is here. He says, hail, Graham. Hail the chat. Zaid Comics is here. Hello, Phil. Kaiju says, no one delivers like me. Thank you, bro. Stripling Vaughn says, this month last year, you did a stream with Andy, Art, and Aaron talking about Star Trek The Next Generation. Or the original series, pardon me. That show led to The Professionals. Congratulations. Has it been a year now? I thought it was longer than a year. But yeah, that is what led to The Professionals. Mr. Bancroft is here. He says, those are some giant-sized fingers. Mine? I don't know. Shadowhawk is digging that 70s Marvel style cover. Yeah, that was fun creating that template and matching up as best I can the typefaces and stuff. Oh, wow. Just grabbed the Metamorpho. I did. That goes back a few years. Funny story about that. I was working on Metamorpho, and my editor, actually, now that I think about it, was Brian Augustin, who just passed away last week. I had a massive stroke. Brian was a great guy and a great editor, and he'll surely be missed, that's for sure. But I was working on that project, and I co-plotted it with Mark Waid, and I was illustrating it, pencils and inks and the whole 9 yards. And that's when I was offered Detective Comics as a monthly. And would you believe that, my entire life I wanted to draw Batman, and that when that offer came to me, I was debating on it. And because, I thought, well, I'm going to be able to do just about everything on this project, and I'll really be able to showcase my abilities, it'll get it out there. And Julie looks at me and she's like, "What are you, nuts? You can't turn that down. You wanted to do Batman since you were, 6 years old." And she slapped me, gave me a reality slap on that, and brought me around. And so we got another inker to do that so that I could get through it and eventually take over Detective Comics. And what almost happened. Hyper Kaiju has a hypothetical question for everybody. If you missed out on the Chanu, what are you doing with your life? Legit question. Bookmarks to the official campaign stretch goal of high tea campaigns. Absolutely. Because manly men read. They're educated too. Wiley says, "I love to see all these creators taking control of their own destiny." F the big 2. Any thoughts on a metal bookmark? I have one and it's pretty nice. Obviously more expensive. Yeah, this is an expensive project as it is, so I'm trying to keep the cost down so that money can all go back into the creators. So that's a no on a metal bookmark for this. Vanessa Stephen Milky Vincent? Hope I pronounced that right. This looks awesome. Thank you. Sci-Fi for Me TV says, "Hello, afternoon, Graham. Hello, chat. Hello." Here's a question for question and answer day. Carl Dude 55, if you could have any artist draw a cover for your next book, who would you choose? Well, there's 2 artists I would really like to get to do a cover because it's a ghost story, The Ghosts of Metacumba Key. I'd like to get Kelly Jones, and Kelly has already told me that he'd be interested in doing one. The other guy I'd like to get is Michael Colluda. I've had one exchange with Michael about him coming on the Storytellers, but he's just not, I think, comfortable streaming right now. But I would like to talk to him about actually hiring him to do a cover, because I just love his work, and he did such great ghost and horror covers for DC back in the early 70s. And his work is better than ever. So yeah, those are the 2 guys I would like to get for Ghosts of Metacumba Key. The Green Laser, what will it take for you to make it oversized like Billy Tucci did with his She Omnibus? I'm not a huge fan of these oversized books. I find them hard to store on shelves and hard to read. They get big and they get heavy and clunky. So I like to keep them manageable. Some people like them. I'm just not a big fan of that kind of stuff. I've got some of those, like the artist editions and stuff, and they're really unwieldy. I mean, you have to put them on a table and kind of stand there and look at the artwork and everything. It's not like you can sit on your lap and look at it. So that's why. That's my thoughts on that. Ronan Yay or nay? Curls for the girls. Curls for the girls. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Curls in their hair? Elucidate me. Lily Munster or Morticia Adams? Well, I got to go with Lily because I was a Munsters fan. They were the monsters I recognized. Frankenstein, Dracula, werewolf, Bride of Dracula, that type of thing. And I love the goofiness of Herman. So yeah, I'm going with Lily. Plus, I think Yvonne DiCarlo, when she was young, and when who was it that played Morticia? I can't remember her name right now. But anyway, in the smoking department, Yvonne was hotter. So I'm going with that. Shadowhawk Backs. Any plans for more Joe Frankenstein? Yes. When I get through my Nolan verse proper, the all self-contained ones that I want to do, we're going to do some follow-ups to Joe Frankenstein. We've got more stories to tell there, and we've got some people interested in Joe in other mediums. So we're definitely going to do that. And it'll be published under the Compass Comics banner, finally, as it should have been in the original. Michael Bancroft learned how to fix backs from watching The Dark Knight Rises. Maybe that's how I threw my back out, was drawing all those things. I mean, if I did it one time, I did it a million times, the breaking of the back sequence. Even though Jim Aparo did it in the comic, during that period, there was children's books, there was trading cards, there was all these other things where that scene had to be drawn, and I drew it. And so that's why whenever I do commissions, my one caveat is that no back-breaking scenes. I did my last one a couple of years ago, and I said, that's it, no more. Can only do that so many times without repeating yourself. And I don't want anybody's commission to look like the next guy's, So Shadowhawk Backs, he says they will continue someday. I'm anxiously waiting. Oh, about Joe Frankenstein. Yeah. Well, I just answered that question, so. Antonio Richilo. Hey, Graham, have you seen the new Reacher on Amazon Prime? Feels like it would fit right into Two-Fisted Manly Tales. Actually, yeah, Julie and I started, we watched the first 3 or 4 episodes last night. Loved it. And yes, my thoughts watching this thing was like, oh my God, each episode is a giant-sized Two-Fisted Manly Tale episode, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I got a little upset last night watching that first episode because he walks into a diner and he's about to eat a slice of peach pie, and the cops come in and arrest him. Well, my story, Crossing the Rubicon in Giant-Sized Two-Fisted Manly Tales, is about a trucker who goes into his favorite rest stop for a piece of peach pie. Unbelievable. Now, I had never read that Jack Reacher book, and I had never seen the show. Obviously, it hadn't come out. But, ass kickery ensues, just like ass kickery ensues. Now, it didn't happen in the diner in Reacher, but I couldn't help notice that there was some similarities there about these 2 big guys going in for peach pie. It just shows you that every idea in the world gets recycled. It's how you present it. Pedro Wang is here. Hail, Graham. Hail, chat. R.C. Gates, what would be your best advice for developing an elevator pitch for a comic? Well, you have to have a strong concept, and then you have to distill that concept down. That's what an elevator pitch is. Something short and sweet. So really, the heavy lifting goes into the initial concept. You got to have a good concept. Pick out the um, the high concept ideas. That are easy to sell. For example, an elevator pitch. A scientist sends his only son uh, to Earth to escape the destruction of his planet, and when he arrives, um, the boy is imbued with superpowers because of Earth's atmosphere. Okay, obviously that's Superman. You know, you just have to distill it down. Um, I know it's hard sometimes when you're writing it and you know all this stuff and you know all the ins and outs of it, and but you really have to stick to the high points, to get the idea across. So you have to kind of let go of some of the details, if you will. Son of Liberty Radio, your Nolanverse books have had different art styles. What visual style are you going to use for the Ghosts of Metacumba Key? That's a great question. I haven't decided yet. I'm leaning towards a much more. It'll be color too. Unlike the Chanu, and the reason is because it takes place in the Keys, and there's such gorgeous, gorgeous colors in the tropics there. Um, so I want to explore, using full color on it again. Uh, but because it is a ghost story, there's going to be a lot of heavy blacks. So I'm thinking of a sort of an Eisner-ish um, high contrast type look with lots of shadows. Because even in the day, when you have an intense sun, you have intense light, you have intense shadows. So I'm thinking along those lines, and maybe even well, certainly it won't be as cartoony looking as Alien Alamo, so it will be much more. I'm thinking illustrative, cross hatching and stuff like that. Sounded like a shotgun racking, didn't it? But it was just the armrest on this new chair. It goes in and out. The Angry Gamer says, I feel your pain. I pulled a shoulder muscle doing dips, and it took forever to heal. Yeah, shoulders are complex areas. They can take a while. How do all your contributing artists and writers feel about being Comicsgate adjacent? Well, they know where I'm coming from, so nobody's expressed any um, regrets or trepidation about it. They all signed on, so I guess the answer must be they're cool with it. I mean, what's not to love? We're doing great comics. They're apolitical. There's no politics in these. There's no polemics in them. So how can you argue with that? If they had any beefs about it, they would have expressed that to me, and I would have set them straight on the lies about them. So they all seem cool. The Dude Without Fear got his Alien Alamo in the mail yesterday. I look forward to reading it. Thank you. Thank you. Thoughts on GoFundMe freezing the Canada Freedom Convoy's funds and the fact that they are connected to Indiegogo. Well, I didn't know that GoFundMe was connected with Indiegogo, but I think it was in Florida. The governor or the attorney general there sued because what they were going to do is they were going to make everybody who donated to the GoFundMe thing have to fill out forms to get their money back instead of automatically refunding it. And if they didn't get their money back, or they didn't fill out those forms, they were going to donate that money to whatever other uh, uh, what's the cause the um, two other donation sites, and so who knows what they would have picked. They basically got caught, and they're being investigated on fraud charges, at least in the state of Florida, last I heard. So good on them, good on FLA for going after these guys. I don't know, I didn't know, or don't know, that they're connected to Indiegogo. Wiley says, thanks a lot for the critique. You're welcome. Jeff McKenzie, coconut moonshine, steak, and Graham Nolan. Ooh, coconut moonshine and eating steak. Yeah, Julie and I had a killer cowboy steak last night. It was great. She made risotto, and we had red wine with it. It was great. It was a good night. Norn Red 2, loved Alien Alamo. Oh, that warms my heart, sir. I'm glad you enjoyed that. When you make that liquor run, check out Jefferson's Straight Rye, aged in cognac casks. Ooh, I will. I've had the Jefferson bourbon, the one that they age at sea. That was really good. Bull Durham, hail and howdy all. Please pray for Andrea's father. Oh, is Andrea your wife? Well, we'll certainly, I'm sure everybody here will honor that, and we'll say a prayer for Andrea's dad. Longer lasting pumps in the gym. Oh, is that what you're talking about? Girls and curls? Were you talking about like bicep curls? Those are mirror muscles. How about Monday Star Trek? That should be a year plus. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing a Star Trek show. But is there an audience for it? Is there an audience for the TOS Star Trek that would tune in every day for that and go over it? I don't know. We could try a couple, see what kind of turnout there is. Well, actually, Hyperkaiju says, I'd buy into a Star Trek show. Hey, so it is the 1-year anniversary, and as it turns out, it's on my channel tomorrow night. Oh, that's cool. Since I named the group The Professionals and Spilling the Ink. Those are two of my contributions. That's cool. Tomorrow night on the Bros, it's the positivity show. We're all going to be talking about there's enough negativity in the world with COVID and politics and all that kind of nonsense, comics. So we're going to focus on good stuff. What's happening in our lives, what's happening in lives of others around us, career-wise, all positive things. There's always good stuff out there. Sometimes you have to look a little harder for it. Sometimes you have to dispel the crap around you so that you can see it, but it's there. And so we're going to talk about that tomorrow, a real uplifting and positive show. Seems like a good one to mark the year anniversary, I think. That's cool. Dude Without Fear. Yeah, I was backer number 12, and I didn't get mine until yesterday. I assume they go by alphabetical last name or something. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. A lot of fulfillment places will start by shipping the overseas books first. I don't know if that's what they did, because it always takes them longer. Take longer to package up, and it takes longer to get there. But I know that's happened in the past. Shadowhawk backs. As usual, I ended up backing multiple times. Gives me anxiety at fulfillment time, hence the bourbon. You should be in my shoes, bro. And you should change your name to Shadowhawk backs multiple times. If I meet you at a con, how many comics can I get signed by you? Also, do you charge? I have about 10 Batman books. I'd love to get signed. Yeah, I do. I do sign. I do charge for signatures at cons. First one's free, and then they're $5 thereafter. But if there's certain books like Vengeance of Bane 1 and 2 or Batman 494, the backbreaking book, whatever that one is, 497, I think it is, where he breaks his back. Those are more. Those are 20 each. And then if it's going to be CG Seed, it's up from there. All I know is I have a big package coming from Alien Alamo campaign. I thought we promised the big package if you backed Giant Size Two-Fisted Manly Tales. Oh! Nolan working blue. Hyper Kaiju reminds us, and I'm glad he does because I always forget to mention it. Hit that like button like it owes you money. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed to the channel, it doesn't cost you anything. Hit the subscription button. Let's get those numbers up. Hit that like button and let's get those algorithms working for us. John Riggs says, are you planning on setting up an eBay store or another way for us to buy Alien Alamo if we missed it? John, it is available on the Compass Comics website. So it's compasscomics.com. That's where I put my books after campaigns. Of course, you know, it's always better to get them in the campaign because in the campaign, you're getting them at a reduced price and you're also getting all the stretch goal goodies that come with it. You don't get that. Those are just for backers. You know, that's one of the advantages of backing these projects is all the goodies that you get with it. So just, you know, going forward, you know, keep an eye on the campaigns and back them while they're live. And that way you get the best deal and the best products. But if you did miss it, you didn't know about it, whatever, and you're new to Comicsgate and the streaming and all that, you can get it at the Compass Comics website. Plushie updates. Haha. Shadowhawk says, Chanu plushie, I'll take 3. Backer 754, congrats, and keep fighting the good fight. Thank you, Stripling Vaughn. Smokey the Con Cat, how can someone book you for a con appearance? You have to contact my booking agent, Renee Witterstatter. She's on, you know, Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So you can contact her, and you know, she'll give you all the particulars, and you know, you can see if the dates work out and all that kind of good stuff. It'll get easier, my friends. It'll get easier. Not Metacumba, it's Metacumba. If you look at a map of the Florida Keys, you will see in the upper mid Keys, that region is called Metacumba Key. It's Native American, I believe. And it was the site of the biggest, most powerful hurricane to ever hit the United States. They even mention it in the movie Key Largo. In fact, there's a memorial there, a hurricane memorial there. Jimmy Owens is here. Hello, Jimmy. Glad you could make it. Kevin Thomas, Hale Graham, loved Alien Alamo and the Chanu. So nice, I read it twice. Nice. So said that Andrea's father passed. God bless her and EVS. Oh, this is Ethan's wife, Andrea. I hadn't heard this. Oh yeah, we'll definitely have to say prayers for Ethan's family and for Andrea and for her dad. Stephen Piper, thank you for the $5 super chat. Love your shows, Graham. Tell us your top 5 Batman title comic covers of all time, please. Oh wow. That's gonna, I don't know the numbers on them. Wow. I Steven, I don't have an answer for that because I have to see them. I have to look through them and get the numbers and stuff like that. There's some great Neil Adams ones. Um, uh, okay, I'm not even gonna go there because if I start naming, I'll leave somebody out. 80 plus years of Batman covers. There's so many good ones. Some great Golden Age ones. That one where Batman's with that water cooled machine gun. I love that one too. So, yeah, I'd have to look. Sci-Fi for me says we're thinking of crowdfunding a print mag like Starlog soon. Oh, cool! I had Starlog #1. I bought that on the stands because it had a great painting of Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock and the Enterprise. It's really great. Yeah, I'm a little bit behind here. Oh, Kyle Holtz is good for horror too. Kyle Holtz is great. Dr. Mass says Colluda is awesome. If I got both those artists, I might have to get both covers. Master Dan making with the funny. I love Colluda and cream. Kahlua. Well, here's a good question from Wiley J. Draws. Favorite John Buscema inker on Heroes and on Conan? Well, it's easy. On Conan, it's him. And actually, my favorite John Buscema inker is him. But the caveat is when John's into it. Because a lot of times he rushes because of deadlines and stuff like that. But when he did those portfolio pieces for Sal Q Productions back in the 80s, that were just amazing. And he also inked himself with a very different look in that book he did with Roy Thomas, Rogue, Conan, not Conan the Rogue something. It was like a graphic novel. Some of the best John Buscema artwork in there. It's really great. On Heroes, I know he loves his brother Sal inking him, and that's really good. I would say on Heroes, I loved Tom Palmer inking him on the Avengers. I thought that was really great. Great question. James Allen is a Morticia man over Lily. Billy Jacobs should be getting his book on Saturday. Super excited. Excellent. Carolyn Jones. Thank you, Past Master Dan. Remember her in House of Wax. Oh, I'm right underneath. Give me Morticia. She was even in House of Wax with Vincent Price. Yes. But you know what? Young Yvonne versus young Caroline. Yvonne's got her. Who can lift bench press more, you, Doug Mankey, or Kyle Holtz? I'm going to go with Doug. Although, I mean, Doug squats and his deadlifts are amazing. He blow me out of the water, and Kyle probably does too. The bench press was my best lift. When I was 175 pounds, I benched 320. So that's a 1.83 weight to strength ratio, which is an elite level. But I ended up hurting my shoulder. I've never been back to that number again. Plus, I'm going to be 60. Oh, who wouldn't love to see Dave Mazzucchelli come back to comics? Guy's amazing. Here's a good question. What's the meaning behind Compass Comics? When I first developed my company back in 1998, I had to come up with a name for it, obviously. And I grew up on the ocean and was always loved boats. Around that time, I was taking flying lessons, ground school. And I thought that a compass, which is used for direction in both of those things, was a great starting point because I didn't like the direction comics were going in 1998. And little did I know they'd just get worse in 2022. But back then, I felt that I wanted to take comics in a new direction, and that was my tagline. And so that's how I came up with Compass Comics. I think I answered that one already, right? Yeah. Any plans to have a company serialize your new comics, like having Alternate Comics do a 3-issue series of the Chanu or 4-issue series of Monster Island? No, I've got my own company. Why would I farm that out to somebody else? If that's something I wanted to do, I would just do it. Cool. I'm going to have to watch Reacher now. It's good. I'm really enjoying it. Peach pie means you've reached the point of no return. Well, somebody understands the Rubicon reference. That's good. Hyper Kaiju watched the Monster of Piedras Blancas last night. LOL. Next time you watch it, keep in mind there's only one car in the whole freaking town. It's that kid's Jeep. He'll be like, well, why don't you take the Jeep and go back to town? And I gotta, snuggle up with what's her face over here. That's the only car you ever see in the whole town. It's like the budget was like right out there in front of you for the whole world to see. Hysterical. Your execution will be better. You got that right. I mean, it's just a similarity. It's obviously nothing, it just happens to be, okay, peach pie, big badass, but yeah, it'll be, it is completely different. I think you're really going to like it. Ghosts of Matacumba Key reminds me of the fog. Well, no, it's not really. It's not like the fog at all because the Chanu is actually more like the fog because the fog brought these ghosts in to land. When the fog came in, something came with it, and that was the same type of premise for the Chanu. When these great snowstorms came in off the lake, they brought the Chanu with it. So I guess that's actually closer to the fog than the Ghost of Matacumba Key is. It was Aru. He pulled a muscle eating bean dip. Well, that must have been some bean. Jaime Diaz says, "You the man, Graham." Thank you, sir. If you look at his avatar there, it's a Cy Berry painting of him. He's a huge Phantom fan. Hyper Kaiju says it's nice to live in a state that is run by adults instead of Democrats. Well, I wish I could live in that state. We were just granted, the governor of New York just lifted our mask mandate. You know, that mandate that doesn't do any good to anybody? Yeah, we've been on that since November, and finally lifted it as of tomorrow. Some conversation here about Doctor Who, which I don't care about. Oh, Ethan's father-in-law heart attack today. Okay. That's a good question, Dr. Mask. What is the future for the girls of Dimension 13? Can you use them in your comics? No, I cannot, because the copyright for them is owned by me and Brett and Aftershock Comics. So I don't know what their plans are, if they're planning on doing anything else with them. But I mean, that could be something that I could buy the rights back to, or something maybe down the road if they decide to do nothing with it. And then I could incorporate them into my Nolanverse. I will tell you that there is going to be a little Easter egg shout out that will reference the girls of Dimension 13 without actually putting them in the book, like I did with Joe Frankenstein in the Chanu. So if you're familiar with that series, or you're familiar with Joe Frankenstein, you'll get the reference. If you're not, then it doesn't stick out or anything, but it's kind of like one of those fun little in the know things. It would be cool to do with Aaron, but Aaron is on West Coast time, and so 8 o'clock in the morning for me is 5 o'clock in the morning for him. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Is Girls of Dimension 13 available in a trade? Yes. Is it out yet? I don't have my copies. I thought it was supposed to be out at Christmas time, but I never got my copies. So I don't know if it is out. I guess you'd have to check on that. But yeah, I know that it is in trade paperback, because one of the holdups was shipping from China, because Aftershock prints in China. Something Compass Comics does not do. I print in the USA. That way, nothing's stuck on a dock or on a boat. Aaron Sarge says, "I want to be the guest, but working late with a software release." Well, good luck on that, sir. James Allen says, "Subscribe, folks." Thank you, James. Yes, indeed. John F76. Hi, Graham. Any chance that future professionals will delve into the issue of rapidly increasing postal rates for international shipping and possible ways to address that problem? We did do a show on that, John, where we did talk about that. Postal rates across the board are way up. My postal rates on the Chanu versus Alien Alamo are up probably, haven't got my total yet, but I want to safely say over $5,000 more than what I paid. I had a package go from Alien Alamo have to go to Australia. And I think I charged, $40 or $50 for it, which sounds like a lot, but it cost me $138 to send it. So I took a big loss on that. I could not charge $148 to send a package because, it's just crazy. So yeah, we're looking into using like sending like a bunch of packages to, for example, in Australia, sending it to like an agent there and having him then distribute it locally. It might be able to save money. So we're exploring that as a possibility. Well, the Angry Gamer read the Chanu last week and he loved it. Good. This is a great time of year to read the Chanu. Cold, snowy. Jimmy Owens, anyone else tear through Alien Alamo at a record pace like I did? I didn't want it to end. That and the Chanu are great. Thank you, Jimmy. Much, much appreciated. Chanu is so good. Bloody Plushie would be hilarious. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Let's where is it? Hold on a second. I'm going to show you the design. Where is it? I know it's on my desktop here somewhere. Okay. Ah, there it is. Okay, I'll put that over there. Okay. There we go. This is what the Plushie design will look like. It'll have like, a traditional heart, like a Valentine's Day heart on them. I think it's adorable. So there you go. For next Valentine's Day, we'll get that. JP Roca loves Key Largo. Oh, it's one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. So apparently my Alien Alamo package just arrived in the mail. As soon as I'm done at the gym, I'm racing home to open it, says Andrew Schweitzer. Excellent. Shadowhawk backs. My 11-year-old daughter loves the Chanu. She drew a chibi Chanu for me for Christmas. I think you shared that with me. Yeah, that was really adorable. Sequential Treasures says unboxing live stream on my channel in 2 minutes. Hope to see some of you there. Thank you for the $5 super chat there, her and the Steadfast. What are your options on Batman 89 and Batman Returns? You mean my opinions, I think. I think Batman 89 is probably the best Batman movie that's been made to date. Batman Returns went off the rails. I did not care for that at all. It's like, they forgot who Batman was. He's out killing people. Again, way too much plot with too many characters. So I didn't like that one. But the first one is still the best. Jack Nicholson's Joker, was second only to Cesar Romero. I backed Aaron's cover for Alien Alamo. Was a little sad it wasn't signed by Graham like the Chanu was. Yeah, I mean, I did say the only ones that were signed were as part of the stretch goal was the wraparound cover, the one that I did. I'm not Stan Lee. I don't like to sign other people's work. Tom Palmer and Joe Sinnott. Not as big. I mean, I love Joe Sinnott on Kirby, but I didn't love Joe Sinnott on John Buscema, and Buscema didn't care for it either. Um, it was just a little too much Sinnott, and the energy got lost, I thought. Christina Lynn is here. Hello, Christina. It's a good question. How are your scripts different when you write your own stories compared to someone else's scripts? When I write them for myself, I have I've got my own way of doing it. You know, I usually break it down into a plot, and then I tighten up the plot, and then I break the pages down visually, panel by panel, and then draw them out, and then I add the dialogue to it. You know, in the layout phase, I'll put dialogue in, basically placement dialogue, just so that I know the tempo and the feel of what they're trying to say, and then I'll refine that and turn a phrase or put some foreshadowing in or whatever it may be. So that's the way I work when I'm writing for myself. When I'm writing for another artist, like Brett Blevins, I did for the Girls of Dimension 13, or if I'm writing for like Michael Golden, I do a traditional full script and give you panel description and dialogue in there as it's going to appear. I always allow artists the freedom to make it better. As an artist myself, I feel like I'm not going to give too much detail, but I'll give all the salient detail to tell the story visually, and allowing the artist to expand upon that and bring his own sensibilities to it. But that's just how I approach it. Vero Frady, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on Michael Turner? Michael's got some great stuff. I really like his work. I don't own any of it because I don't read any of the books that he's done. But of course I've seen it and I know his name. And he comes from that image sensibility and the image school, if you will, which is not mine, but I can certainly appreciate that style. Particularly, if when you're a good draftsman, guys like Jim Lee, who's a really good draftsman, Michael too is an excellent draftsman. So that goes a long way in ingratiating that kind of storytelling to my sensibilities. Would I like to see a Bane versus Chanu fight? No, I don't. Because I don't own Bane. DC owns Bane. DC Comics. Let's see. Same answer. J.G. Muth would do a nice ghost cover. Well, I haven't seen any of his work in years. I noticed that. You take the Jeep back to town, Chief. I'll watch after Lucy. Exactly. He's referring to the Monster of Piedras Blancas. Kevin Grievous said this the other day too. He thinks that Reacher would make a great Captain America. The guy who played Reacher. What about, says Ahoy Nolan? How much of Chanu was Wendigo and how much was other folklore stuff? Well, the Chanu and Wendigo or Wendigo are two different mythologies from two different native tribes. They're somewhat similar, but there are differences. So I base Chanu off the Chanu folklore of a scarred soul usually because of cannibalism, and it turns them into these ice monsters, who have to eat the hearts of men to try and reclaim the warmth that they could never have. Fascinating stuff. I mean, I changed some of it, for my own story needs, added some myth to it. But yeah, I really love that book. I had a lot of fun with that. That's why I'm thinking of doing another. New York State governor and New York City mayor equals useless. I agree. Yeah. Recently, Bri G says, recently collected the entire run of Nightfall Quest and series. Love your work and hope to get an issue signed. Thank you. Yes, she did not remove the mask mandate for our kids. James Allen wants. That's cool. Christina Lynn says, "Aw, LOL." Truly steals the heart. Indeed. I mean, who knows more about hearts who than the Chanu? Oh wow, here's a tough question. John Ford, Sam Peckinpah, Bud Bedecker, or Sergio Leone? Whew, wow. Since they're all Western directors, the question has to be for their Western films. Sam Peckinpah only made two. Ride the High Country and oh my God, this is the greatest one. Oh, please, somebody fill me in. John Ford, of course, did many Westerns. Some of the Sergio Leone ones are hard to watch. So I'm going with John Ford on this, even though Bud Bedecker made one of my all-time favorite Westerns. But I'm going to go with John Ford. There, I'm sticking with it. How did I get involved with Clinton Cash book? Brett Smith called me. He had Chuck writing it and asked me because he knew I hated Clinton, and asked me if I wanted to do it. So it's pretty simple. What do you think of Swanderson art? That is Kurt Swan and Murphy Anderson, my favorite Superman artist combo. I love it, especially the early ones. The Kryptonite No More storyline. When they first started taking over, Kurt seemed inspired at that point. I think it was around the time he had been talking to Joe Kubert about how to punch up his layouts. But then kind of fell back into some of his old storytelling techniques. And towards the end there, it was workmanlike. It was okay. But early on, when they first did the change, the Kryptonite No More stuff, it was fantastic. Really, really some of the best stuff. Although surprisingly, the Swanderson stuff is not my favorite. Anderson's not my favorite Kurt Swan inker. I really like George Klein, and my favorite is Bob Oxner on Kurt. What are my favorite comic book characters? Well, my early ones, of course, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. But I also love Conan and Tarzan and Doc Savage, the pulpy characters. I love the Submariner. I said the Fantastic Four, right? But the Thing was always my favorite. He was right up there. Still is. Love it. Joe Frankenstein meets the Chanu in the style of Abbott and Costello meets series. What gave you the idea of the newspaper page at the end of Alien Alamo? Leg Kick One is referring to the last panel where we're looking at an iPad. It's not a newspaper page. It's actually kind of a mock-up of NASA's webpage. It's the same format. If you go to NASA's page, you'll see it. It was a way to foreshadow what's coming. And then if you look carefully, there's a lot of fun Easter eggs on that page, on that iPad, and that nobody has mentioned. So I suggest you take a look at that and see if you can put them all together. Stat Zero is here. Hello, Stat. Good evening to Graham and the toughest chat in CG. You betcha. Yes, thank you, Nate. The Wild Bunch. My God, I must be sugar deprived or something, because I'm hungry. Haven't had dinner yet. that's all I'm going. And we'll go with. Damn, I'm gonna have to tighten this thing. Anyway, I'm not racking a shotgun, people. It's this stupid new chair of mine. Dolomite says, will you be selling Alien Alamo or the Chanu at any cons you appear at? Yeah, if I have extra copies, I'm trying to keep them for the website. But I'll probably take some with me. Peckinpah directed more than 2 Westerns. Yes, but he only directed 2 good Westerns. I didn't like any of his other ones. Not a Solomon Kane fan. That's one of Howard's characters that I never got into. Love the Thing in the Kirby Lee run. Had the best lines. Oh, absolutely. Stan's New York sensibilities and humor, I understood because I grew up, half an hour outside of New York City on Long Island. Ride Lonesome is the only Bedecker movie I've seen, but I really like the style of it. Masterful and tight script. Yeah, that's the one. That's my favorite of his. Just an amazing revenge tale that you don't see coming. I feel like you would make one hell of a Ben Grimm, The Thing series. In a perfect world, if Marvel was to call me up and say, Mr. Nolan, we really want you to come back to Marvel, and we're going to give you carte blanche. What do you want to do? I would say Fantastic Four. Get out of my way. Simple as that. Stat Zero, I got 2 questions. Every writer's favorite. Where do you get your ideas, and why is Donovan Reeves a movie to watch after all the other Wayne movies. All right, Donovan's Reef is a movie you should not watch at all. It is a horrible piece of crap. It all came about because John Ford wanted a paid vacation to Hawaii, and he brought all his pals and his cronies with him. It's a horrible, horrible movie. The plot is terrible. It's derivative. It's full of all that Ford nonsense and sentimentality, all the shit that I don't like about Ford films. But having said that, what's the first question? Every writer's favorite. Oh, where do you get your ideas from? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I think creative people have wandering minds. You see things, you put them into your own mental library, things that you see, things that you hear. And then eventually something triggers it and it comes out, when I came up with the idea for the Chanu, I was on the thruway or the 190 going past Buffalo and the Lake Erie on one side and a storm coming across the lake. And it was very dark and foreboding. And I thought, well, what if that storm brought something with it? And I pulled into a coffee shop and started writing it up right then and there. Just happens. And, it's a hard question. I really don't know the answer, but that's how it happens for me. Hi there, Brett. Your thoughts on Akira Kurosawa movies? I'm going to be honest with you here. I haven't seen too many. I hate reading captions, on the foreign films. I really need to sit down and watch them. Sam Milazzo is here. He's popping in between workouts and retests today. So welcome. Kyle Rayner reviews. Hi, Mr. Nolan. Regards from Argentina. What do you think of how Bane was managed and portrayed in Tom King's run? Oh, it was terrible. It was horrible. I mean, I didn't even recognize the character. The guy didn't understand the character. It was terrible. Well, we all have beef with the Yancey Street Gang, the way they treat Ben. Marvel would likely ask him to design Predator versions of the Fantastic Four. Well, I'm not going down that road again. Donovan's Reef, like African Queen? No, African Queen is a marvelous film. Love that movie. The first one was a Joe question. For that matter, so was the second. Well answered. Chat, that's a man that respects his fans. That is true. I do respect my fans. I love these interactions, these conversations. I just find them so much fun. I thought I'd be, doing this thing. I started it at 6? And we're at 7:30 already. And I thought maybe I'd be lucky if we got to 6:30. Here we are. My wife just messaged me, "You almost done?" I can smell dinner up there. But we're having too much fun here. Gigadeath, the graphic novel. Graham, have you ever thought about making indie films? No. The art form of storytelling that I prefer is comics. That's what I like. I could be involved in something, particularly if a film company was interested in one of my IPs, but I never had any interest in directing and dealing with Hollywood. I'd get tossed out because I'm brutally honest, and I wouldn't suffer that kind of the kind of nonsense that goes on in Hollywood. They'd write me off. Okay, let's see here. Julie, the producer of the show, my lovely wife, just sent me a text that I misinterpreted something. The comparison to of where is it? I'm trying to find the original post. It was the comparison of the African Queen, to Donovan's Reef, and she reminds me that the reason that Africa Queen got made was because John Huston, wanted to go to Africa and go elephant hunting. In fact, Clint Eastwood made a movie of it. I think it was called White Hunter, where he was a John Huston character, who basically had this thing as an excuse to go to Africa. So, thank you, Schmoop Dog, for that. What if I was paid to be a consultant for a film that featured Bane? Would you be okay with that? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'd want a Bane movie to succeed. You know, maybe if they consulted with Chuck and I on the two other iterations, we would have had better movies. Okay, I think we just got down to the bottom, finally caught up on all the chat and questions. So, hey, this was a lot of fun, guys. 7 o'clock or the 6 o'clock time frame seemed to work out okay. I'm happy for that. Tomorrow night, as I mentioned on the Professionals, we're going to be doing the positivity show where we're going to be talking about a lot of good things, not complaining about all the nonsense that's going on in the world. We're going to focus on positivity. So that should be a lot of fun, uplifting. I invite you guys to come in and chat and super chat away, and bring your own positivity to the room here there as well. So again, I'm gonna head upstairs before dinner burns. It's probably being warmed right now. So wish you guys a great night, and hopefully we'll see you over on the Bros tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye bye, everybody.